keep wanting to call it Dubai, and that's not correct.
It is.
What, is it Dubai? Where they're building that island? Is that right?
Palm tree.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? The building, I mean, there's not enough land everywhere to, you can go build an island. Emirates or something, is it Emirates? But it's in Dubai, that's where it is. Okay, I don't know, island of Emirates or something, I think it's where, I remember seeing them going out there just dumping and building this crazy looking island. Very, very wealthy people live there only. But yeah, you've got the individual is the authority, but then we have to live together in a group. I mean, that's ultimately, at least globally, we all have to live together. And so somebody's got to make the decision. Somebody has to make rules and then enforce those rules and so on and so forth. Because at the end of the day, we don't all agree, and somebody, wants to do things that the rest of the people don't think are a good idea. It just seems to be that way in our society, right? Some people think it's a good idea to go to McDonald's and shoot people randomly, and most of us think that's not a good idea. All right, so we have to do something about people like that. We have to put them away or put them to death or something. Got to do something with them. We can't just let them run around the public. Okay, so somebody has to make the law. Somebody has to make the final say-so of this is how it's going to be. And who is that person to be? Who should it be?
I would think it would be either A, the person who's smart or has really sound logic, which I mean, how do you define that? B, someone who everybody listens to for the most part anyway. Or C, someone who just overpowers everyone to listen to them.
Overpowers. Okay, there we get that might makes right thing going on there.
Yeah.
You think that's right? Might makes right? Is that how it works? Is that how it actually is that the way it functions? I mean, kind of works out like that. Well, I mean, look at our own nation. Was it ultimately military might that prevailed, and we just finally shoot off? There's an interesting, in that movie I talked about, there's an interesting conversation about that in Parliament that goes on. I don't know if it's true, but it's interesting on their side of it, on Britain's side of it, how they were looking at the war, the Revolutionary War.
Oh yeah,
but
we didn't fight fair.
Well, at some point, was it really in their interest to keep having all these thousands and thousands of soldiers die over what? A piece of land halfway across the, why?
Yeah.
So at some point, was it worth their investment of lives to continue that war when that determined rebellion just was not going to give up, and they knew it? Okay. Relativism, it emerged with the sophists, and we'll talk about them later, a little bit later when we get into pre-Socratic philosophers, so kind of underline that. We'll go back to those guys. Okay, most famously was Protagoras, and we'll see that guy later. Okay, as philosophy progressed, relativistic thought persisted, but wasn't powerful in a position until the 20th century. So, relativism has always been around to some degree. It just didn't really have a good firm root until the 20th century. Okay, don't worry about writing all these down. I'm not going to test you on this. This is opinion. I'm not going to test you on a whole bunch of common opinions. All right. So let's just randomly go down a few of these and talk about them, and then we're going to move on. We need to get up into rationalism today. Okay. Truth is only that which corresponds to reality. Excuse me. We've already seen that. What is that one? What theory of truth is that?
Correspondence.
Thank you. Correspondence theory of truth. Okay. So that's one example. Truth is all things that are perceived to be true. Well, that's kind of relativistic. Truth is because my existence is the center of the universe. That would be solipsism in its finest. When I would get into
Okay,
that.
so these are all different. They're not.
Yeah, they're all different. No, they're not one. These are just random. This is stuff off the internet that I got. Just random what you think truth is stuff.
Because some of them are arguing with each other.
Yeah. They're gonna grossly contradict each other. Oh yeah. No, this is random stuff. We're just looking at some different ones you might identify. You may find the reason I do this. You may identify with one of these and go, oh yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. So truth is intuitive, and that's back to that rationalistic kind of thinking of Plato. Truth is it built in? Do you just? I mean, who had to tell you? Don't you kind of glean from, you may disagree completely with your parents about almost everything. And then you find out later in life that they were right about some things, but we won't get into that in here. Okay? So, truth is intuitive. All right, you know, hey, Mom, Dad, y'all, so I'm not listening to Mom and Dad, I'm going to do my own thing. Where's that coming from? Well, it's coming from you, right? All right, so is truth built in, or is truth imposed? Okay, intuition has no place in determining truth, so forget that. No built-in ideas. We don't want to get into that stuff. Truth is only truth if it corresponds to fact and is expedient to believe. That means that it's readily believable. All right, we'll move on. All religions are true. All religions are foundationally true is another way of looking at that. All religions have substance of truth. This is sort of a different way of looking at religious beliefs in general. This is a pretty common one. Religion is myth and devoid of all truth. Okay, that's another. They're all wrong. It's not a matter of which one's right. They're all wrong. Forget Buddha, Muhammad, whoever. You know, they're all wrong. Okay. Even if one's view does not possess foundational truth, it still can contain truth. Okay, that was supposed to be truth. Okay, one's view of truth affects, and that should be affects, not effects, his or her view of the rest of reality. Okay, now that, ultimately, your view of truth is going to affect, or at least what you accept as truth, is going to affect the rest of the reality. Truth changes with changes in circumstances, and that's relativistic, all right? That's situational ethics, or relativism at its best. These are just all some ideas, some stuff I wanted to throw out. There's a bunch of them. Here we go. Truth is determined by popular consensus. If we're relativists in a democratic society, we might go along with this one. Well, people are ultimately, if you don't throw God out of the picture, or any deity, or any higher power, okay, put that all aside for a second, you're going to come down to man's in control, people are, rule the universe, and so, well, what's the best way to make sure everybody gets along? Well, we'll just take a popular consensus. Majority rules, right? Okay? Majority is supposed to rule. Is that kind of the way it's supposed to go anyway? Truth is mind, truth is matter. We're going to talk about that when we get into our next subject of rationalism. Or, yeah, epistemology.
What is an epistle?
What's that?
What is an epistle?
A what?
What is an epistle?
An epistle?
Yeah, epistemology.
No, episteme is a Greek word for knowledge,
Okay.
for knowing. Epistle is a letter. That's different. That's a different term. Episteme, epistemology, where that word comes from, means study of knowledge. Okay, that's what that is. All right, and that's what we're going to talk about, the big debate here of rationalism and empiricism. All right. See, I've got Kant on the right here, Immanuel Kant, and I've got Descartes, Rene Descartes on the left. Let's see what it is. Kind of a bad picture. All right. Let's talk about knowledge. How do you know that you know? Have you ever known something with all that you were, and only to find out you were wrong? Some of you, I know, I'm divorcee, I know. Sorry, sorry, not your head's hiding. Yeah, you really don't know somebody till you're married to them. All right, and even then you don't really know them for a while, probably. Okay. Subjective knowledge. All right, subjective knowledge refers only to knowledge of one's own state. That's the knower. You know what you know inside. Okay. All right. And special epistemological status is given to this because it's the only form of immediate knowledge. You know what you know.